Well, I wanted to show you guys where I'm at. What's happening with this Hawaiian trip so far. Let's bring up the map and I'll show you. I'm at Lanai. If you remember, I came over from Honolulu off of Oahu. And I don't know what these white lines are. You know, this one's got an airplane on it. This one's got an airplane. I think it might be my history because I headed out in this direction. But it's not my route. I mean, I didn't set up any routes. I'm a little confused by it. But this is really what I did. I came out here. I was only going to take a few hours because it's about 30 nautical miles from here to here. You know, according to the scale down here. And if I was going 5 knots, I thought I'd be, 6-7 hours. But it ended up taking me all day, to be honest with you. It took me hours to get to here, and then I could see I was going to end up over this way, so I started heading this way, and then I came down. So I don't know what this is, but it definitely looks like it's showing me my history. Maybe it's, I was going to say maybe it's my history during the offline hours, but I don't think so because a lot of this was not offline. I mean, I did the first video from here to here. Well, yeah. That first video actually was just really from this dot to this dot. And then I was offline, and then I got online and did over to here, and then I was offline again almost to this place here. So it must be doing history here. I have not. Somebody asked me to set up do a video tutorial on how to do the waypoints, and I had spent some time sailing in Sailaway 3 in the Bahamas, just using waypoints, and I pretty much had it figured out. And just when I thought I had it figured out, I got confused, and I don't have it figured out. I can't. If I go right now and say my routes, I got a bunch of different routes I had built in here. I think this last one here is... Yeah, let's see what that is. Where is that? Yeah, that looks about right. But, it definitely confuses me. It really does. And then I lost that history. That I was just showing you the history. And I don't know how to get out of that. I don't know how to move these. At one point I did. I think when you're in the edit mode, my routes, you go in the edit mode, you should be able to move this stuff. I don't know. Anyway, one of these days I'm going to go back and see if I can figure it out. I've looked for other tutorials on it, but I end up spending a night in this harbor here, Kamalupa Harbor, and that's where I'm at. And so the plan now is, this is Maui over here. The plan now is to sail down around here and over to Maui, Molokini, or Poahakapi, Poahako Manamama. I don't know, but that's the plan, to come around here. And when we get over here, I want to do an underwater dive with you guys to take a look and see what the reef looks like over there. Because we do now have underwater reefs in Sailaway 3. It's a recent development. I noticed very recently that's there. And so that is the plan. Also notice, like, what happened to my mouse? I don't know. What's oh, maybe it still was trying to edit my route. I also found out, when you look at the logbook, a lot of things to talk about today. I have totally lost my mouse. I wonder if the battery went dead. Yeah, I could see my mouse thing, but I don't see the I don't know if I can go without a... How am I going to sail here without a mouse? I mean, I'm in the controller, but I use both the controller and the mouse. But I do like, for this boat, only having the brass gauges, but unfortunately I need to know what time it is, and there's not a clock, so it's kind of strange, because I got the brass gauge and I got the modern gauge. Very weird looking, but it's the only way I could tell you and keep an eye on the clock. And for the logbook, I really need to see the clock, because as soon as you get into the logbook, it reverts back to actual time, and it's something, it doesn't match the environmental time you set. If I had a mouse to do it. Listen, guys, I'm going to pause the video, put a battery in my mouse, and get that fixed. So I was talking about the logbook. So if you look at the logbook, there's a discrepancy. It's alright, it's July 5th, and of course when you go in the log, it's automatically going to take you to the actual date and time, not whatever you environmentally set it to be. I live in Florida, which is the East Coast, and so I'm in, U.S. Eastern Time. And so if I want to do the video and I want to sit on Hawaii during daytime hours and not actual time, I have to go make adjustments. But the logbook is always keeping actual time, so I have to do a log entry to let you know exactly, where we're at. Because, it says it's November 22nd. Well, that's really what it is at the time, but there's also a disagreement, because it says it's 1,600 hours. But, well, let's do a new entry. Do a new entry. July 5th. New day. Spent the night in the harbor. New day. And it's 11 a.m. Because that's what it says right here. So, yeah, it's a little awkward having a brass gauge and a modern gauge. But I don't have an old-time clock. It'd be nice if somebody made that. So now I have my own entry. And you notice that... Okay, in the entry, it shows 2,100 hours. 2,100 hours. It should be 23. I don't know why. It's a disagreement. There's a 2-hour difference, and I'm not sure what's going on here. A 2-hour difference. It should be 2,300 hours. No, I'm wrong. I keep thinking there's a 12-hour difference between UTC and Hawaii, but it's a 10-hour difference, so it's okay. It's all right. It plugged it in correctly. I don't know. I could have swore it was off by 2 hours, but yeah, 2,100 hours, 10-hour difference. So it was 11 a.m. That's perfectly fine. All right, guys. So that logbook does nice, but you have to poke in the local time in the log. Okay, so that's all good. Now you can see we don't have any wind. You know, it's like on this brass gauge, I got 3 knots of wind at best, and let's see what happens. Okay, let's see if I can even get going here. I'll put up all the sails with 3 knots of wind. I'm gonna be kind of drifting along, but what can I say? It's either that I hang around till the wind changes, or go in and make my own wind, which I'm trying not to do that, but I change the environment other ways. So look how nice the water looks here in Hawaii with this current wind. Well, so let's go ahead and put the anchor up. Put the main sail up. I do need the gauge for that because I should be able to hoist the main sail, no problem. There she goes. And if we hoist one of these forward sails, we may be able to turn the boat a little easier. It's either going to help or hurt. But I think sometimes throwing a forward sail up, you can catch a little breeze that helps you turn the boat. So let's walk towards the back and see if we can turn this thing around. While we're thinking about, let's see what the provisions are. This is another thing. I set this to 2, and then every time I come in, I gotta set it back. It automatically goes back to 1. I only used, you remember I had 50 liters of fuel, and I had to go out of the Honolulu channel, and I only used 1 liter, so I'm good on food, I'm good on water. We got the wind. We're gonna have the wind behind us, as little as it is, 3 knots. So let's see if we can get this thing going at least a knot or 2. Main sheet. We're gonna be running with the breeze. So the wind's going to be behind us. You can see the flag. If you always look at your flag if you want to know which way the wind direction is. I mean, I've been looking at the gauge. It may be hard on the video to watch the gauge, but this is a problem with sailing in July. If there's no wind, there's no wind. We are moving about a knot. Now we could put up a spinnaker. I don't know if there's enough breeze to catch a spinnaker, but you know, if there isn't, I'm going to go ahead and cheat and give it about 5 knots, because this 1 knot, this 1 or 2 knots is just. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I'm trying to get my sails out. There we go. Get the Jenniker. Store the. Well, we can keep those. We can keep those out. We may be able to use them. Close that up. All right. What happens if you have 1 or 2 knots of wind and you throw your Jenniker up? Let's find up. Let's find out. Take number 3 down. Huh. We're moving. We're getting 2 knots out of this. We got about 2 knots of wind. We're getting 2 knots of 2 knots of speed. That is something. Now, what can you do with the Jenniker? Jenniker sheet? Yeah, let it out. Whoop, I'm underwater here. So guys, we are moving. What we could do is we can swing the mast the other direction. Go wing on wing. You want to try that? Whoop, wrong one. There we go. So what I'm doing is I'm pushing the mast around. So it goes wing on wing. So you got the Jenniker and the main sail opposite one another as you run downwind. But even still, I only got 2 knots of wind, so you're not going to get too far. I just flipped on me anyway. I went too. I went past the wind line. So what do you call that? So I was 180 degrees. The wind is directly behind me. And if you do that, you could flip the sail, and that's what I end up doing. But hey, I think what we'll do now is we'll go ahead and cheat on the weather, just the conditions. We're not going to do too much. We're going to go give it 7 knots of wind. Yeah, it's tempting to give it like 15 knots, but we'll just go ahead and do it 7 knots and we'll get moving here. So what I was trying to do is I got us wing to wing, but then I wanted to point the boat further east, and by doing that, I got the wind directly behind me, and it flipped the sail back over to the starboard side. So anyway, I could force the issue, but I don't want to. It's let both sails be on the starboard side, and we're actually moving quite well now. We're doing 4 knots, for a lull day. So it's kind of unfortunate that I got a brass gauge, a kind of a old-fashioned wooden boat with an old-fashioned brass gauge, and I got this modern clock, but you do need some kind of timekeeper so I can keep my log correct, and because if I was to go, and I'll show you what I mean, if I'm going to go and adjust condition, the only way you can see what time it is that I know of, maybe somebody can correct me, the only way to see what time it is, time of day, would be to go adjust condition, and then it tells you here the system date and time, and then it tells you the local time on board, which is, wait, yeah, it's got it right, 11:17. Oh, I see. Now, use system date and time. I'm not supposed to be using system date and time. I'm supposed to be using July 5th. Um, 2100 hours. There we go. Fog. I don't like Hawaii. I want it to be nice and clear. So I only give it a couple percent of fog since it is Hawaii, and I don't want to have November fog in there when I'm sailing in July. Hopefully any of that makes sense. But here we are. Now we got nice blue water. We're going at 4 knots. We got the time of 11 in the morning, local time, 2100 hours UTC. 4 knots. We're running downwind. We got the Jenniker out. We got blue water. And it's fairly calm with 7 knot winds. Okay, so the adventure continues, and the plan is to get around. What do I say? This is Lanai. Go around the bottom of this, then head directly east towards Maui, and then we'll get to Maui and we'll find a place to dock there. Somebody's chatting. I don't know if they're chatting at me or chatting to somebody else. Oh, I guess other people are out there chatting right now. Before I go, a couple of the other things I want to talk about was the coastlines. We have a wonderful sailing simulator here. It is absolutely stupendous. I love it. It's in every respect. We got good physics. We got good sailing physics. We got beautiful boats. What can you ask for if you got a beautiful ocean? The ocean aesthetics and the ocean physics, the waves, the water, the hue, and we have the whole planet. So we have all that, and so and then the coastlines and the lighthouses and the channel markers, they keep improving. But even still, the coastlines could do much better. But I'm really looking to people like myself to contribute and start building custom coastlines. And so I don't know if you know. Let's get back in the boat. Am I back in the boat? What happened to my boat? I don't know why I can't get back in the boat. Oh, am I still in the chat? There we go. Back in the boat. Yeah, it's so enjoyable. It's so enjoyable sailing this old wooden shipper. Many of the other boats that I have purchased and those that came with the game, I like. And it is just a pleasure. But I think it's up to us. I mean, really, Richard's doing his part. The developer's doing his part. And he's opened it up for people to make custom boats, and they are, and this is one of them, and it's just fantastic, But he's also open to make it up custom coastlines. Where you can, if you have Blender or any 3D modeling program, you can go in here and contribute and put your 3D model in here. The only stipulation is be aware that this isn't isolated to your own experience. If you go and edit the world, you are editing it for everybody. So we don't want people just going in and playing around or putting McDonald the clown or something like that. we need some, but we have talent. We have people all over the sailing community that has the ability to do some things. It's been a long time since I've done anything in Blender, so I'm not sure I'm going to be contributing that way. I'm going to continue to try to contribute with my videos. But if you don't know how to contribute and you have the ability to do custom models where you can put in a custom coastline, maybe some custom buildings, custom dock, so we can actually sail up to, I just came out of the harbor, there's nothing there. But in reality, there should be, right? So if you live in the area and you have a particular knowledge of what the dock and the buildings should look like, you can come up to here and go contribute and then create, go into World Editor. So right now, the World Editor is available to you, but it's not open. It's not activated. So it's simply it's as simple as emailing the developer, let him know you want to do some development, and he'll open that editor up, and you can go ahead and put your 3D models in. I'm looking forward to it because we have the whole planet Earth. We have the sailing community. We have people talented. Look at the talent we have with this ship here, you know. And Richard's made it possible. He's made it possible in the physics for people to put model boats, custom boats, and sails on, and to operate in the way it should with the winds. But even easier, I would think, would be anybody can 3D model a boat like that, can 3D model some harbors, some some docks, some mooring areas to at least anchor off of, some beauty along the coastline. Because, the coastlines have been getting better. They used to be even blander. If you think this is bland, they used to be even blander. But every so often we see the textures on land get a little nicer. And that'll take time, because we do have the whole planet Earth. So what can you say? I do have a particular request. If the developer's watching this video, I'd like to be able to check off somehow, if maybe there is a possibility, somehow in the settings to be able to check off and turn off in the graphics wrecks. Because right now, if you go to the map and you find a wreck out there, I think there was one next to Honolulu. Well, it's going to take a while for the buffer to come in. But there's a shipwreck. Where is it? Because I'm not seeing it right now. But you guys know what I mean. There's shipwrecks that show up, especially in Florida. We got shipwrecks all over the place. But to be honest with you, I live in Florida. I'm in the Florida Keys quite a bit, and I can tell you, the shipwrecks are underwater. You don't see them. You have to dive on them. And yet the shipwrecks in the game are all modern, huge carrier ships or tankers or whatever they are. And they're really an eyesore. And I wish I can go into settings and turn off shipwrecks, because the ones we see are not anywhere near reality. We don't have dozens of tankers half in and half out of shallow water. By the way, in Florida, we do have container ships, but they sail, I think, because I spend a lot of time out off the Florida Keys. You have to go about 15 miles out off of any land, any harbor in the Florida Keys. You got to go 15 miles out into the blue water, and there's a channel out there where the big boats are. And they're not, but the shipwrecks in the game are all over within a mile or two of shore. And it's not that they're fake, they're real, because I've been on them. I've dove on them, but they're not container ships. They're not 2 football field long ships, 200 yards of whatever. I don't know what that would be, a couple hundred meters long, but they're just small. They're all small boats. You can't see them from the surface. You can dive on them, but the big boats are 15 miles offshore, and they're not wrecking all along there. They're just not. So, it's not like I want to get shipwrecks out of the game. I love the fact they're in there, but I would love to have a checkbox to say, hey, don't populate shipwrecks, because I don't want to see those big things. The other things are, are there oil platforms? I see oil platforms all over Florida. Are there oil platforms in the Gulf? west coast of Florida, yes, but two, they're not along shore. They're out. They're out a little further out, and I don't want to see them. I wish there was a checkbox so I can unpopulate all the oil platforms, because I don't. So I spend a lot of time on the water, in boats, along the Florida coastline, and we're not seeing these huge platforms, and we're not seeing these huge shipwrecks. So that's a personal request. It's a rant, but I appreciate anybody. I mean, if you want to comment about that, that'd be fine. But in the meantime, that's a criticism, but I'm not complaining about the love of the game. Because I love this game. It's well, some would say, hey, it's not a true simulator. It really is, and I have a hard time calling the game because I'm not trying. There's no point system. There's there's nothing that you're trying to. There's no award system. Maybe it would be nice if after you sailed so many miles you got some bubble, one or two bubbles, so you can pick up an instrument. But right now we want to support the game, so I'm not suggesting that. So go ahead and comment if you have some thoughts, and hopefully you're enjoying me sailing around the Hawaiian Islands. Yeah. I guess another thing is, I've been to Hawaii for a couple weeks, but that's about all. But I do know from TV shows and my actual time there that there are some islands like in Oahu on the west side. It does kind of look like this, but most of the islands are green. And even Oahu, except for the far west side, is very green, very lush, very tropical, very green. So at some point, if somebody's going to redo textures in the tropics, a little bit more green, at least during the summer months. So hopefully these are constructive criticisms, not taken in any dissatisfaction, because if I didn't love it, I wouldn't talk about it, but I love it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and we'll catch you next time.